All right, JavaScript Array Methods in a few minutes or less. Today's video, we're gonna do forEach, and I'll showcase two quick examples. The forEach array method in JavaScript is used to loop through each element of an array and execute a provided function for each element in that array. So in a nutshell, here's a simple breakdown of what the forEach array method does. 1. Iteration. It goes through each element of an array one by one from the first element to the last. 2 is function execution. For each element, it calls the provided function once, passing the current element value or index as arguments to that function. 3 is no new array. Unlike some other array methods, say like map for example, forEach does not return a new array. It just loops through the elements and executes the given function for each of them. That's it. 4, order preservation. The order of iteration is guaranteed to be the same as the order of the elements in the array. So the first element in the array will be the first one to be processed. The second will be the second, the third will be the third, and of course, so on. And 5, return value. The forEach method does not return anything. All right, let's look at some examples. All right, so our first example here, we have const numbers. It's just equaling an array of 5 numbers numbered 1 to 5. Super simple. So now that we have reference to that, let's go ahead and take numbers, type it down here, and now we're gonna hit numbers with that forEach. So dot forEach. So there's our array method, but an array method takes a callback function. So let's go ahead and write a function skeleton. Open that up. So now here all we're saying is take numbers and forEach something, do something. And that something is our variable. We want to name this. We can name this whatever we want. Since we have numbers here, that's plural, let's just go ahead and do number. So forEach number, do something. What do we want to do? Well, for now, let's just log something to the console. And what do we want to log to the console? Well, we have a reference to number here, which is every item in the array as it gets looped over, right? So let's just log number to the console, but each one multiplied by 2. And then that's going to give us our result. So we have const numbers, which is an array of numbers 1 to 5. We take numbers and we forEach number in that array do something. And in this case, we're just logging it to the console and multiplying by 2. That's about it. So, all right, let's look at another quick example. All right, so for this example, we have const users, which is an array, but it's an array of objects. Each object is, of course, a user. And each user has 2 key value pairs. We have ID, which is equals the numerical value of 1, and then name, which equals the string of somebody's name. And let's say we want to log some information about each object to the console. Well, again, we have reference to users here. We have this array of objects, so let's just grab users, type that down here, hit it with our forEach, and remember, forEach takes that callback function, so let's do our function skeleton. Open that up. And what do we want to do with this? Well, we want to log some information about each object to the console. So let's just go ahead and set up our console.log. So we have our console.log here, and we're using forEach on users again. So users is plural. So why don't we call our variable, our reference to each item in that array that we want to see or perform an operation on? We'll just call it user, singular. So we're grabbing users, forEach user do something. In this case, we're going to log it to the console, and let's log each user's ID and name to the console. And to do that, I'm going to use something called template literals. So template literals, if they're going to be printed out to the console, everything always needs to be in a set of backticks. And in this example, I want to see the ID and the name. So I can say user ID, and the syntax for the template literal is very simple. It's just a $ with a pair of curly braces, and then we pass into that template literal the variable that we set up here for each user, but what for that user? Well, their ID. So it's going to be user.id, and then that's going to print that stuff to the console. And you know what? Let's just get their name in there too. So we'll do name, get our template literal in there, and then we're going to do user.name, and then that's going to print out the data for each object in the console, which of course is a user. Super simple example, super simple data to work with here, but you can see how you can loop over that stuff with forEach and view it, or perform a small operation on it if you need to. And that's about it. So in summary, the forEach array method is just a convenient way to apply a specific operation or function to each item or element of an array. It's way cleaner than using a for loop, and it's definitely a more modern approach to writing modern JavaScript. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I will catch you in the next one. But in the meantime, if you like this, go ahead, like, comment, or